Welcome to Barbecue Today. I'm your host, Derek Riches, and today we're going to be making a rotisserie chicken. Now, be warned, this will ruin you for store-bought rotisserie chickens forever. So, if you like the convenience of those, don't make this. So the first step to making a great rotisserie chicken is to brine it. I pretty much brine all poultry. It just enhances the flavor and keeps it a lot more juicy and tender. So I have a very regular standard grocery store chicken. I've removed all the giblets and I've trimmed up some of the excess fat and skin around the body here. Now I have here 4 quarts of water. This is a cup of white sugar and a cup of coarse salt. You want to use a coarse salt because table salt tends to be a little too potent. It's going to make it a little too salty. Now all I want to do is stir this around until it dissolves well. Now you can do a lot with brines. You can put herbs, seasonings, anything you want really in here that's going to enhance the flavor. But I'm just going to keep this real simple because I'm going to be doing some extra seasoning on my chicken once it's done brining. So just get this dissolved well. Remember to use cold water. And then put the chicken in, put a cover on this, and take it to the refrigerator. Keep it in the refrigerator for about 4 hours to 8 hours. 4 hours minimum, 8 hours maximum, and be ready to go. If you get this in here early in the morning, you'll be ready to cook pretty much anytime you're ready. All right, so my chicken has been brining for about 5 hours now, so it's pretty much ready to go on the grill. So let's talk about getting the grill ready for rotisserie cooking. Now today I'm going to be using a gas grill. This specifically is the Weber Genesis E410. And it's a 4-burner gas grill. I've gone ahead and removed the cooking grates. They're just going to get in the way. So I have a burner right here and a burner right here. I want to cook this chicken indirectly. So I want it to be about here. Now I don't want to make too big of a mess of my grill, and I want to keep any potential flare-ups at an absolute minimum. So I'm going to put a drip pan in here. This is just a basic 9x13 cake pan. It's nice in the fact that it's not too high. If it's really high, that's going to get in the way of our cooking. Sometimes you can fold these sides out a little bit, give you a little extra space. So on my chicken here, now, and I don't want to fiddle too much with it once I get the chicken on here. So I need to figure out exactly where this is going to be. Now I've already got a fork on here, but one trick I like to use is I take a lemon, or you can use an onion or an apple or anything like that, and I thread that right onto the rotisserie rod. I'm going to put the chicken over top of it. So I'm going to feed it in bottom end where the open cavity is this way and straight over my lemon. So we're just going to put this back on here and get this positioned right where that lemon, right where I'm going to want it. Now I will then put the chicken right on here, lock it down with the forks, and fire up the grill and get it cooking. Okay, so my chicken's brined and my grill's ready. Now, when you brine a chicken, the 2 things that are important to remember. 1, rinse the chicken off with cold water after you take it out of the brine. This gets any excess salt deposits off of the surface of it, so you don't get too salty of a flavor. And the second thing of it is, this chicken now has all the salt in it I really need, so I'm not going to be seasoning it with any salt. Now today what I'm going to be using is a little compound butter. This is half a stick of butter, the juice of 1 lemon, and then fresh oregano, crushed garlic, black pepper. It's not that complicated. By using this is literally a paste at this point. So it's going to go where I want it, and it's going to kind of stay in there, and then as the chicken cooks, it's going to melt and it's going to work its way around and give us a great flavor. Now, of course, you can use anything you want. You want to use a dry rub, that's fine. Marinating, whatever. If you brine, just don't add more salt. Now the problem with seasoning a chicken is the skin, well, it prevents the flavors from getting inside. You can get really flavorful chicken skin if you season the outside, but it's not gonna get to the meat where we really want it. So yes, we're gonna be putting some inside, but we wanna work our way underneath the skin. Now let's take a little bit closer look and see how that's done. So I wanna work my compound butter in underneath the skin. So I'm gonna start by pulling up on the skin right near between the breast and the leg, and then just separate that skin away from the meat as far back as I can get. I don't want to tear the skin, but I do want to get us a working space. Now it kind of holds here, so we're going to have kind of two compartments. Now I also want to get down into the thigh and leg area. So I'm going to work around in there, kind of open this up. Now I can start getting my compound butter. Bit messy, but it's certainly worth it. I just keep working this back underneath up in here. It's a little runny in some places because of the lemon juice, but I just want to work this up in here. Chicken's nice and cold because it's been in the fridge, and the butter's been in the fridge as well, so it's set up nice. Don't worry about getting too much in here. It's, like I said, it's going to spread around as it cooks. Give you the flavor that you're really looking for. Okay, now we want our chicken to be kind of an intact unit when it goes on the rotisserie. If it's flopping around a lot, it's not going to cook as evenly. So one trick is I take the wing tips and I fold them back behind, kind of press them in there. This will keep those from moving around so much, and once we get it secured, it'll all be in good position. Okay, so at this point we want to truss the chicken. So I have a nice length of string. This is folded in half so we know where the middle is. Take that middle, put it under the chicken, right over the legs. Bring it up, cross it over, I'm gonna wind it around a little bit. Pull it up this way. Let's get that leg in there a bit. Now, around, take one side around that leg, and one side around that leg. Cross it again, pull it tight, and then we come up here under the breasts. And what we want to do is we want to kind of, sorry. What I want to do is we want to kind of cross the string around a couple of times. Not really knot it yet, but get it so it'll hold in place. Now, you can hook this around the neck if you need to, but generally I find I don't really need to. So then we're just going to give it one last knot. Get it good and tight, and cut off the ends of the string. And my chicken should stay intact. We're going to keep those legs together. Now we're going to go and get it on a rotisserie rod. Remember, I've got my lemon on here. I'm going to feed it through the body cavity, kind of feel around a little bit until I find the neck hole. Continue going until the lemon is in the body. Make sure we don't move that lemon around. Now I can put on the opposite fork and just bring these together. My chicken should stay well intact. I just want to kind of line these up a bit so I can get a good tight squeeze on there. And then we tighten up our forks. Now you might need to tighten them with some pliers. You just want to make sure that they're not going to come loose. So now our chicken is on a rod. If you're using a counterbalance, you'll want to rotate the chicken this way and set your counterbalance going straight up. I don't really need a counterbalance for the motor I'm using. Most modern motors don't really need it. But now we're ready to take this out, put it on the grill. Okay, so I am back at the grill. It's preheated. I have my drip pan in place. I've got burner here and burner here on, and this burner off. Rotisserie motor's in place. All I need to do now is get our chicken in on the grill. See, it's right where we want it. Turn on the motor. Maybe adjust that drip pan just a smidge. Should have good clearance there. Now, you can put some water in the drip pan if you want, but I don't find that it adds that much moisture. And on many grills, including mine, there's not a lot of clearance space, so we're just going to keep it dry because we want a nice dry roasting. And this will now take about 90 minutes to cook. So our chicken has been cooking for about an hour and a half. If you want, you can baste. But the great thing about rotisserie cooking is it literally is self-basting. Brush some olive oil or butter on there if you want. It'll brown up the skin a bit more. But frankly, I don't find it needs it. When it starts getting close to being done, when it's got a nice golden color to it, you want to temp check it. You want to get into the thigh area, where the thick part of the meat is, and check in the breast. Do this on both sides. Look for a temperature 165 or so. Anything over 165 is good, and your chicken will be done. Now, handling the rod is dangerous. It gets very, very hot. I use a pair of welding gloves to get a good hold on it. I can undo the screws, I can take it off. With it done, I'm just going to turn off the heat, lift it off, and carve and enjoy. I know this is a simple process. Rotisserie cooking really is actually very easy. Sometimes it gets a bad rap, which is a shame because it's one of the best ways to utilize your grill. You can cook anything that tends to be kind of too big for everything else. Roasts, poultry, you name it. It's a great way of doing slow roasting. It's a great way of putting a lot of flavor in foods, and it's a great way of cooking outdoors when you just don't want to heat up the house. As a matter of fact, I actually wrote a whole book on rotisserie cooking. I'll put a link down below, and you can check it out. You might find it useful, might find it informative. There's some really great recipes in there. It was a lot of fun writing it and getting a chance to spend about 6 months doing lots and lots of rotisserie cooking. So I hope you found all of this informative. If you want to find out more about outdoor cooking and what's going on in barbecue and grilling, I suggest you give this channel a subscribe because I will be back and there'll be a lot more videos to come. Thank you.